Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katelyn from Florals.com and today is the card concoction series, which I'd love to do more often here on my channel, but I don't always get the chance. But I wanted to feature how I'm using the end of this 6x6 paper pad that I have left, as well as some of the Paige Evans Truly Grateful die cuts that I've left. So I'm kind of comboing these together to make some cards. And that's what this series is about, is sitting down, using supplies you've wanted to use on some cards. And I think card making was definitely my first passion when it came to paper crafting, and then I fell into scrapbooking alongside that. And I don't film that many card making tutorials, but if you guys would like to see more, please let me know in the comments down below. But there were some very beautiful die cuts that matched these color schemes perfectly. Now this paper pad that you saw in the beginning is from KI Memories. It is super old, so I'm really happy to be using these scraps up. It is from 2012, but I believe I bought it pretty much way after that, probably 2017 maybe, but I purchased it at Ollie's, which is a discount bargain store. But I'm really happy I purchased it for $1 because I've gotten more than my fair use out of it, and you guys will see me using it more later this month. It's kind of out of order how things are uploading, but I can now say that the paper pad is killed, so stay tuned to see how the rest of it was used up, because you guys are going to want to have to see that. So I've pulled out the 2 pumpkin sets of die cuts that are in this Paige Evans Truly Grateful set. Now, if you guys know, it's pretty much a fall themed set, but not super duper fall themed. So here's where my struggle was when I used this in my kit. I don't have a ton of fall photos currently, and I don't print at home, so using these kind of die cuts would be difficult since I don't have those themed options to work with. So I decided to use these themed objects, the pumpkins, the beautiful grateful and gold foil, beautiful stuff, and use them to make cards that I could use for Thanksgiving or thank yous or thinking of yous, because sometimes we just need a card and we have the supplies to make it, so why not make some? So I have this beautiful EK Success Punch, which is this lattice style, and I know there's been a big surge in border punch lately, which I've been pretty much inspired by to do this. I've seen it all over YouTube and on Pinterest and Instagram, and I decided to use this one. This one's pretty old. If it is still available, I'll try to have it linked down below. It might be available on Amazon, but I really love how this turned out. And since we are in such a trying time currently in the world, I have been trying to send out more and more cards just to give someone a little bit of happy hello in their mailbox, because that is just something people tend to enjoy. So I did both sides with the border punch, which it didn't do perfect. I definitely messed up some spots. And what I'm going to do is flank this across with some other pieces. So like I mentioned, I wanted these pumpkins to be the center of attention on these cards. And if you guys have a ton of die cuts like me, this is an easy way to make cards. You essentially get a die cut, put something behind it, whether it's a tag or a doily or, you know, like a pocket page card, something to give it a base. And that's essentially your card. So here I'm pairing the doily as my base with the pumpkins and then using pattern paper to add some extra color. And that's what I did here, and this floral is absolutely gorgeous. It screams fall to me despite having that purple tone in there, and I think it's just so fun, and I hope you guys think so too. But here is how it's going to end up looking. Now this card base is 110-pound Kraft Cardstock. It's just from Joann's or Michael's, wherever you want to get your Kraft Cardstock. Make sure it's thick enough and heavy enough to stand up on its own as a card. I know some of the other ones can be quite thin, and that is cut to halfway across, so that'd be 5.5, and then scored at 4.25. So you guys get that perfect A2 size, which fits in a normal card envelope, but you can make whatever size cards you want out of your scrap cardstock or whatever you might have. So here I glued down my little doodlebug doily in, I think it's called Lily White, and then I'm going to use some fun foam here to prop up my pumpkins. Now, to be honest, normally I coordinate my fun foam with the card I'm working on, but this time I just used a scrap that I had sitting on my desk in that red color. I did think about adding some pearls or sequins, but right now I'm going to take my Tim Holtz craft pick that I got for Christmas and sort of touching up some of those edges that didn't tear well when I did the punching so that they're hidden, so I kind of tucked them under. Now if you're looking for a little bit more dimension, you could have put a lot more of this on some fun foam or on, you know, do some distressing if you wanted extra texture. What's nice about a card compared to a layout is that a card can be felt, it can be touched, and layouts are traditionally inside page protectors. So make sure you're taking that into consideration when building your card. And you also, if you're sending it through the mail, you want to make sure you're not making it too thick so it doesn't fit through a typical mail slot, because sometimes that costs extra postage or your card could get damaged, and we don't want that. Here's where I pull in the second pumpkin that I knew I wouldn't be able to use on a layout, but wanted to be able to use up this die cut pack this month. That's kind of one of my goals of making this How to Kill a Kit with Style kit this month, was using up some stuff left over from February into March. And that is what I intend to do. So since I was struggling to find a page for these to fit on, I decided, you know what, cards were definitely the way. And since my card concoction series requires me to use the 2 items that I had picked out, which are the die cuts and the 6x6 paper scraps, I'm fidgeting here with what I want to do with these other scraps. Now, I will say I only make the 2 cards in this episode, but I do have a 3rd card that I made, and I will be sharing that at the end of the month because I made it after the fact. I'm lucky I got 2 cards in because my battery did die shortly after completing this video. But you'll see here that I'm trying to figure out what kind of layers I want beneath this particular die cut pumpkin, because we still have some florals left. Maybe I want a doily. I really liked how this magenta-y pink color matched the pumpkin coloring very well, but not exactly. It's like a different shade almost. And right now I'm struggling, which is something that happens often with every craft or every art. You sit there and you look at it and you don't know what you want, but you know it could work together. So here I'm going to start fidgeting around with some more things. I'm thinking doilies, I'm thinking tags, I'm thinking how do I stack scraps together to make a color scheme that works well with this pumpkin and works well with this look. So I end up trying to stack them this way. So you'll see I rotated the card, and then I rotate it back, and then I'll rotate it again, because luckily cards are available to make any direction. So here I start looking at the sizes of these because they're not all the same, and then I trim them down to make sure they are the same. Now I don't keep scraps that are super small, like the one I just trimmed off is like just over 1/4 of an inch. I won't end up keeping that, but I do use some of the smaller, chunkier scraps like these to see how they will be able to work for a card. So I finally have some sort of design in mind with these stacked strips, and a lot of these designs are applicable to layouts as well, in case you want to do that on one of your layouts or one of your pocket pages or projects. Totally doable. So here I decided to start stacking, and what's nice about these is I can just put these 2 together because they're not the same width. They're the same, or not the same height, but they are the same width. So I decided to just stack this one on top, and I kind of did this in the 6x6 Fix series with Crafty Maggie on my channel on the Back to the Boat page that I uploaded. I did something similar where I used the paper sizes to my advantages and then stacked over them to make sure everything looked even and centered, and you can totally do that with cards as well. So here I'm going to mount this one on foam adhesive as well, mainly because I want that definition between the busy pattern of the yellow floral and the busy pattern of, you know, the florals around the little sides of this pumpkin. So here I grabbed some scraps. I just want to make sure they're in place, and I use usually liquid adhesive and tape adhesive to adhere my fun foam because I'm always not sure if it's going to stick, because it's not really made for paper crafting, it's made for other types of crafts, but I think I make it work. And to add a little bit more fun and to help seal up these seams, I end up grabbing my, this has probably got to be in my favorites video, but this is my Me and My Big Ideas washi tape, and it is a yellow scallop on a white background. So it kind of just adds this nice little, it's like a border punch without having to punch anything. So it has a nice little pop of yellow, kind of contains the yellow in its spot, and just adds a nice detail. And this isn't super visible, it's just one of those little details I thought of and wanted to add on. But this will be a perfect card to use for the upcoming Thanksgiving at the end of the year, or just for fun. I don't know, if someone baked me a pumpkin pie, for example, I could always send them this card because it's pumpkin themed. But I think it's really beautiful, and while it does scream fall, it doesn't necessarily have to be for fall. I decided to pull out some new supplies. I recently got my MFT order from their retirement sale earlier this month, and I pull out the gift card greetings. set, and I stamped this one in black, and it says "For All You Do," and I just think it offsets everything beautifully. It's like instead of just a perfect square, now we have this little bit that's beneath it, and here's a look at that stamp set. But I love how that came out, and I just quickly stamped that with my VersaFine Onyx black ink. I did think about adding some enamel dots, but I decided it was perfect as is. These two are so fun and so beautiful, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my take on this episode of Card Concoctions. I'll have the playlist linked down below, as well as supplies in case you're interested in purchasing them. But thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and let me know what you think of card videos. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!